just as much as a prosecutor can give every detailed reason why they need to prosecute you, I would love to learn. I would love them to give every reason why they can't prosecute you. It's like a church. They only need to explain certain things. If you're gonna have a fully functional court, okay, not the court for Christ, not the holy courts of religion, an actual court that's separate from the church, then you need to act like a court and explain the reasons why and why not you're making decisions or not making decisions. Because this is frustrating. I've heard every excuse. I've read every excuse from the cop to the DA and even the judge, giving excuses, but they're just so lacking in clarity and very biased. For example, with the cop situation, he can give every reason, give all the witness reports, give all his evidence, recording my YouTube video as to why I need to be charged with harassment, disorderly, and obstruction. But then, that's it. There's no other side. Like, okay, maybe these charges won't stick because of these reasons. It's one-sided. It's one, and in the policy for their body cameras, they're supposed to explain reasons why they shut it off, why didn't use it, especially with my situation, the first contact, why I didn't even turn it on. No explanation for that. But it's clear in the report that there was a first contact. There's such a lacking, and with the DA, they use every excuse to try to throw me back in the jail, to try to tack on extra charges. But there's no conclusion to why they dropped the charges. All right. It's just like, we will drop the charges. That's it. And if this went to court, then they would be going full steam trying to go through process of explaining why these charges need to stick and why I need to be punished to the full extent of the law. But when they realize that they can't make charges stick and there's nothing to make me, oh my God, is it snowing outside? Wonderful. So it's already cold for it. No reason why they dropped the charges. Every reason to make the charges stick. They can write it and verbally argue it in court, but then when they drop it, there's no explanation. You don't know what they're thinking. You know what they're thinking when they want to charge you, but when they don't want to charge you, it's mute. It's a church. It's like God wills it this way, and that's how it's going to be. All right, you're going to have to live with it and live in fear, not knowing what's going through their minds. All right? And that's the same way with the judge, too, when he explained that there's no video, no audio, no recording devices allowed in court. God wills it. It's the church of Christ. It's the court of Christ. All right? The DA, disciple attorney. It's very similar. I mean, the structure. It's the building. The room is very similar. The courthouse is very similar to a church. So you got a lot of parallels there, and in their activities and how they will explain some things, like you better obey God because this can happen to you. You need to follow the Christ path. But then there's certain things when you question, okay, is God real? They don't want to they want to make it biased in their explanation about God. All right, they want to create the illusion that God is real, just like the courts want to create the illusion that everybody's a criminal. But we're not going to explain, especially the prosecutor We're not going to explain why we no longer think this person is a criminal. It's one-sided. They just drop it. That's it. All right? And that's very church-like. It's very biased and unfair. It's frustrating to deal with, and it just makes me want to attack their characters all the more. All right? Is that what they want? Do they just want to have this big character assassination spewing back and forth between the parties, without any explanation as to why a change of change of heart occurred? It's just going to be continuing this back and forth, us versus them type of thing, God versus the devil. It's really frustrating to deal with, not knowing what's going through their mind. I want everything explained. All right, if everything is not explained, it's not so much a court. It starts to go into the gray area of being more like a church. All right, being more like God wills it, and don't you ask any questions as to why this decision was made. All right, that's not right. All right, if we're gonna make this into a church, start hanging up crosses. I mean, don't be trying to hide that you're so much different than a church.